在上海相亲，
In Shanghai, blind dating is hell for women who want to find a partner, especially for those highly educated, high-income, and older women over 30. Then, how do they end up single?
单亲妈妈想要找个男
A single mother wants to find a man to marry. Her son is 9 years old. She requires a place to live, a monthly salary of $1,400 to $2,800. He should give me $1,000 in pocket money each month, and he can't spend my money. This mother, are you looking for a husband or making a wish? You're always the one making demands. What are your conditions? Oh, right, you have a 9-year-old son, but that doesn't seem like an advantage. It seems like you're giving him a chance to pursue you. Have you been watching too many short dramas and are hallucinating? Many Westerners may not realize that one of China's biggest crises is its population crisis. Clearly, the CCP knows this. Therefore, for some central party policies to the propaganda of numerous party media outlets, efforts are being made to encourage people to marry and have children. However, the Chinese are collectively unmoved. Single men, women, and families, as the cells of society, are facing an unprecedented crisis of trust. In this episode, we'll explore the origins of this crisis of trust. First, let's look at a new phenomenon, dry marriage, or we can call it roommate marriage. The core characteristics of this type of marriage typically include 1. A lack of communication. Aside from daily trivialities such as children, mortgage payments, and utility bills, the couple has nothing to say to each other. When together, they are either glued to their phones or watching TV shows, with virtually no emotional exchange. 2. Emotional stagnation. A lack of physical contact, a cold sex life, and avoidance of eye contact create an emotional wasteland, with a huge chasm between them. 3. Absolutely split the bill. Money is managed separately, household expenses are split equally, and boundaries are clearly defined. It's purely a matter of living together for convenience. According to the latest data from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, this type of empty marriage has recently seen a surge in discussion among urban youth aged 25 to 40. A survey conducted by the Shanghai Academy of Social Sciences in the first quarter of 2026 revealed a sobering statistic. In Shanghai, 1 in every 6 to 7 couples aged 25 to 45 is in this dry marriage state, a staggering 15.1%. There's no infidelity, no domestic violence, not even arguments, yet the marriage seems drained of all its vitality, leaving only an empty shell. This trend is rapidly spreading from Shanghai to the rest of the country. The rates in Beijing and Shenzhen are 13.3% and 13.5% respectively, while Guangzhou reaches 10.7%. Nationwide, the average proportion of this marriage in name only is approximately 6.8%, and it's spreading at a rate of nearly 8% annually. Legally married but living like familiar strangers, sharing the same marriage certificate, yet leading parallel lives. A Shanghai white-collar worker once lamented online, "It feels like I'm working for my marriage. She and her husband split the mortgage payments, take turns working at each other's parents' homes on weekends, and even pregnancy and childbirth felt like meeting KPIs, key performance indicators." This marriage failed to nurture her growth, leaving only exhaustion and resentment. Under economic pressure, Chinese people have begun to carefully calculate. Many young people who haven't entered into marriage have the option of not marrying. Those who have chosen marriage prioritize their own interests over those of the entire family.
你们说年轻人为什么都不结婚了？
Why do you say young people aren't getting married anymore? Don't tell me about male awakening. It's just that men can't afford to get married. Take our area, for example. The bride price is $20,000. I was born in 2000, and after working for 3 years, I've saved $14,000. With some support from my parents, we can afford the bride price. For a marriage, not only is a bride price needed, but also the cost of wedding expenses, 5 pieces of jewelry, and other daily living expenses. You need savings for all of that. In short, you can't let yourself be poor just because of the marriage. I don't think any girl marries into a family just to live a hard life.
家说男女比例失衡。
Everyone says there's a gender imbalance. Why are so many women still not finding their other half? These toxic motivational sayings are causing a lot of girls to lose their way. A beautiful woman can marry a good man, and someone who won't spend money doesn't love you. These statements are misleading. Ultimately, girls see themselves as princesses, waiting for the perfect man to pursue them. The reality is that men are already overwhelmed by life's burdens, either giving up or abandoning their pursuit altogether. Don't you think so? Today, I'm going to say something that all married women dare not say, and that will instantly awaken unmarried women. I don't recommend ordinary women get married and have children, especially if your husband is ordinary, your in-laws are ordinary, or you yourself are not strong enough. Many people criticize me for advising women to be afraid of marriage and childbirth, saying that a woman's life isn't complete until she becomes a mother at least once. Today, I'll directly retort, do you lack children in your life? What you lack is money, what you lack is someone to support you, what you lack is being loved and cherished. The blogger said she never opposes childbirth, but she opposes women who have nothing, blindly having children. If you have someone to love and care for you after marriage, then having children is the icing on the cake. But if you have children just to make do to keep a man, it's likely not to solve the original problems, but rather to bring you more pressure and burden. For those who enter into marriage, high housing prices and high divorce costs are the core root causes of dry marriages. In first-tier cities like Shanghai, a 90-square-meter condo typically costs between $750,000 and $1.2 million. The down payment drains the savings of 2 generations, and the mortgage accounts for 40 to 60% of the family's monthly income, with a repayment period of up to 30 years. For ordinary working-class families, divorce is no longer a simple emotional separation, but a devastating economic catastrophe. The couple lives under the same roof, yet in separate rooms. Zero physical contact becomes an unspoken understanding. Daily communication is reduced to just children, mortgage payments, and utility bills. Even a sweet word becomes a luxury, and concern is tinged with polite distance. They strictly adhere to a split-the-bill system, managing their salaries separately and keeping household expenses meticulously accounted for. They are undisturbed by each other. After work, one spends time in the living room scrolling on their phone, while the other hides in the bedroom playing games. Despite being the closest legally, they live like roommates. Especially in Shanghai, even young couples become accustomed to meticulous budgeting. They essentially turn their marriage into a business partnership, using a shared calendar to schedule housework and Excel to calculate expenses, eliminating all uncertainties except for those for their relationship. When I was 20, I met a guy in a university club. We really liked each other, had many common interests, and got along very well. We dated for 3 years. I remember one holiday he took me to the movies. As soon as the movie ended, he took a bouquet of flowers, knelt down on one knee, and proposed to me. At that time, all I could think about was that he had no house, no car, and no job prospects after graduation. If I married him now, I might have to live in a rented room for the rest of my life, suffering hardship. The blogger said that it was precisely because she didn't want to suffer with him that she rejected the boy's proposal and broke up with him. Later, she had several more relationships until her 30s before finally getting married. However, married life wasn't as smooth as she had hoped. Sometimes she thinks of that boy from back then, and a pang of regret rises in her heart. If she had married him, perhaps life wouldn't be so much worse than it is now. Another reason for the phenomenon of dry marriages emerging in Chinese cities that is largely driven by the excessive exploitation of employees by Chinese companies. The 996 work schedule has been touted in China's internet industry for years, but few companies have truly fixed it. Finance, real estate, and new energy industries are practically draining their employees. Couples come home, collapse on the sofa, and don't even want to talk, let alone nurture their relationship. Data from a 2025 survey by the China Marriage and Family Research Association shows that over 50% of couples have experienced some form of emotional alienation. The China Marriage Quality Report 2024 indicates that the average daily face-to-face in-depth communication time for Chinese couples has decreased by nearly 40% compared to 2020. More specifically, 67% of couples have less than 10 minutes of truly meaningful emotional communication each day. Dual-income couples have an average of only 12 minutes of truly effective communication time each day, mostly revolving around trivial matters. Men are worn down by their bosses at work, and then they are required to provide emotional support to their wives at night. Not many could handle that. These chaotic phenomena in Chinese marriage and relationships have deep social roots. Under the deliberate guidance of the CCP, the norms of traditional Chinese family culture have been broken. Basic human relationships and morals are constantly being pushed to the limit. Traditional concepts of marriage, love, and family affection are all shattered. The CCP's internet and its films and television dramas teach women how to profit from marriage. Many Chinese women view marriage as a highly profitable business deal, expecting men not only to provide financial security but also emotional support. Many women are single not only because of toxic motivational quotes, but also because of current TV dramas. Many TV dramas are about a domineering CEO falling in love with an ordinary me, a domineering CEO falling in love with a brain-dead me, a domineering CEO falling in love with an older me, a domineering CEO falling in love with a divorced me, a domineering CEO falling in love with a mother of two, a domineering CEO falling in love with a menopausal me, a domineering CEO falling in love with a person with Alzheimer's. This isn't a domineering CEO. This is a brain-dead CEO. Wake up. Starting in 2010 Valentine's Day, Qixi Festival, May 20th, May 21st, these romantic holidays became incredibly popular. Boys buying gifts for girls on these holidays became a standard practice. Whether the gifts were expensive or good became a topic of conversation among girls. Gradually, many women prioritized spending over relationships, looking for a partner based primarily on their financial situation. One of my clients, a 1995-born girl from Northeast China, 168 centimeters tall, has a face that would rank in the top 3 at any matchmaking agency in Shanghai. She told me, "Teacher, I really believe in fate and love, but she's only willing to meet elite men with assets of over 30 million, and even some wealthy middle-class men." The blogger said this young woman went on a lot of blind dates, but either she didn't find the other person attractive, or they thought she was too materialistic, so none of them worked out. The blogger lamented that young women shouldn't be overly idealistic when choosing a partner, nor should they waste their precious youth on repeated selections. Chinese Confucian tradition places great emphasis on family. Under the conscious promotion of the CCP, money has become the sole measure of your worth. Traditional family values in China are crumbling. Have you ever seen families where their parents have a son and their jobs aren't bad, but they haven't saved any money for him over the years, haven't prepared a house for him, etc.? You must believe that they haven't done anything worthwhile over the years. You don't even need to meet these parents to know that. They know they have a son, but haven't prepared a house for him. Let's not talk about the quality of the house. You know your child will definitely get married, right? They just haven't saved any money for him, haven't prepared a house for him, etc. What were these parents doing when they were young? In the eyes of the younger generation, dry marriage isn't even considered shameful. Not getting a divorce is already a great achievement. They've already been very responsible. When Gen Z talks about this topic, their frank attitude makes the older generation shake their heads. In their view, marriage is simply a matter of life's mission to complete it. Whether there's love or compatibility is left to fate. The meaning of traditional marriage models is no longer understood by these young people. The narrative of love above all else has faded in the face of high housing prices, intense internal competition, and high uncertainty, becoming a luxury. Can you believe that people in their 20s and 30s are getting divorced en masse? You think it's because they can't get along? Wrong. It's because they've run out of money from their parents. What's the marriage model for young people these days? The groom's parents empty their life savings to make a down payment on a house and borrow money for the bride price. The bride's parents, on the other hand, use their retirement savings to prepare the dowry and pay for the wedding ceremony. What do the two young people do? Nothing. They wash their faces, put on makeup, walk the ceremony, take tens of thousands of yuan worth of wedding photos, strike a few arrogant poses, and with both sets of parents exhausted from running around, the wedding is considered over. The blogger says that many young people today simply don't have the concept of responsibility in their minds. After getting married, the young couple finds they have a condo, a car, and 200,000 or 300,000 yuan in savings. They didn't realize the weight of this sum. It is their parents' hard-earned money, painstakingly earned on an assembly line. But all they think about is whether to go to the Maldives or Sanya for a vacation. When the money ran out, even food became a problem, and that's when conflicts arose. Arguments, cold wars, and even divorce. She lamented that this was the reality for many young couples. Data released by China's Ministry of Civil Affairs on May 9th this year show that in the first quarter of 2026, 1.697 million couples registered for marriage nationwide, a decrease of 113,000 couples compared to the same period last year, a drop of 6.24%. According to Bloomberg, this figure is the lowest level for the same period since records began in 2013, indicating that even during the peak wedding season, the willingness of young Chinese people to marry remains low. After peaking in 2013, the number of marriages in China has been declining steadily since, from 13.469 million couples in 2013 to 6.83 million couples in 2022. On the other hand, in the first quarter of 2026, 622,000 divorces were registered nationwide in China, roughly the same as in recent years. This widening gap between marriage and divorce registrations highlights the demographic pressures currently facing China. Related to this figure are issues such as older single women in cities struggling to find husbands and single men in rural areas finding it difficult to find wives. Many older single women are ruled by toxic motivational articles online. They watch videos all day saying things like, "Better to be single with high quality than in a low quality marriage." I want to ask you, what does high quality even mean? If you earn 3,000 yuan a month, why would you want someone who earns over 30,000 yuan a month or $1 million a year? That's not high quality, that's just wishful thinking. All my close friends who are doing well now got married early. Only I, this big fool, believe those toxic online motivational articles about women needing to be independent. Look at me now, no money, no boyfriend, and I'm an older leftover woman. Frankly, female independence is just a trap set by capital. Of course, in this era of confused values, there are still many Chinese people who uphold the ideas passed down from their ancestors and diligently manage their families. They have thus overcome many hardships in life and reaped happiness. My husband was a nobody with no car, no house, and no savings. I insisted on marrying him even though it was a long-distance marriage. I'm from Zhejiang and he's from Guangxi. My parents didn't ask for a bride price and I didn't ask for a wedding. I married him without hesitation. Everyone around me said he wasn't good enough for me, his looks were average, his income was only a few thousand yuan a month, and his family background was also average. At that time, my own monthly salary was around 10 to 20,000 yuan. He pursued me for 2 years, we were together for over a year, and we've been married for 7 years. At the time, almost everyone was pessimistic about this marriage. What did the bloggers see in her husband? The blogger's answer was simple: he had good character and is hardworking and reliable. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and has no bad habits. Most importantly, throughout the relationship, he always put her first, giving her ample respect and care. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.